In 2013, four friends came together to bring an idea to life. What if every child could be just one click away from a great education? With that vision, Edpuzzle was born. We set out to create an intuitive platform to bring video learning to everyone. And as our global community grew, we refined our platform to fit your classroom and your teaching style, becoming the trusted platform you rely on today. And so, what's next? Bigger, bolder, and better things are coming as we take interactive learning to the next level. Are you ready to join us?
Well, hello everyone. I'm Quim, co-founder and CEO of Edpuzzle. I'm actually one of the four pieces that started Edpuzzle in 2013. As you can tell from my accent, and if it's the first time that you see me, I'm from Barcelona. I got the charming accent when I was born here and raised here. I became a math teacher in a middle school in Barcelona. And it was through the challenges that I had as a teacher that we actually developed with three of my best friends a solution for me and my students in a real classroom. I quickly realized that the problems I was experiencing in my class were the same problems that many other teachers were experiencing all around the world. And we got the chance to move to the United States, to California specifically. And I think it was an advantage that I wasn't speaking the perfect English because I could listen to teachers more than I would speak. That's an advice my grandma always told me. You have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, so you should listen more than you speak. Unfortunately, this is a 50-minute keynote, so I'll try to make it as interactive as possible, but I'm usually not in this spot where I have to talk for so long. So I moved to the United States with my three co-founders, and I literally visited every single school in Silicon Valley. Actually, one of the fun things about that experience is in order to convince schools to open their doors, I brought brownies and cookies. So I spent most of my money in brownies and cookies to convince everybody to have a chat with me. But through that experience, I was able to understand the pain points of using videos in classrooms. So as you all know, because you're already Edpuzzle users, the first one is when you share a YouTube video with your kids, or any video for that matter, that video becomes almost like a black box. You don't know what is happening between student and video. There is a lack of accountability. And the second problem, which is now more and more common, is that when you drop your students on a YouTube video or any video online, there is a lack of security and safety for the students. So you drop these kids on YouTube, and believe me, they are not gonna continue watching the math video. They're gonna jump into something more exciting and more entertaining that probably YouTube, which is the purpose it was built to, will entertain them for a long period of time. So with those two problems, we developed and built Edpuzzle. What I want to say with this story, and I think it's important, we have always built something teachers love. Not liked, not something that was developed in a lab or far away. It was developed in a classroom. And we continued with that mindset every single day for the last 11 years. Yes, we have been working on Edpuzzle for 11 years with that mindset in mind. How can we support teachers and build something they truly love? So that's a little bit of the story of where we come from. And I wanted to ask the chat, let me see if I can open the chat. I want to ask how many of you know what the Edpuzzle name means and where it comes from? Do you have any idea why we picked Edpuzzle? And please don't say that we build puzzles, because that was honestly what many principals thought we were doing at the beginning. Ed is for education, that's correct. Education puzzle, that's a good one. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you like the truth, but also I'm gonna explain a little bit the interesting story I explained with this name. Putting all the pieces together. Nice. Exactly. Awesome. Well, let me tell you the truth first. The truth is, again, you have to picture myself in my classroom with my students, my 3 best friends helping me develop a platform for them. And I didn't know how to pay my friends for the time and effort they were putting into developing a platform for my kids to learn through video. So first thing I did was apply to an incubator. An incubator is basically a place where companies apply to get funding, and they also get like a training and support to develop the platform and build a successful company. Between classes, I was filling a form to apply for this incubator. I literally was typing the business plan while I was in the janitor's room. He was my friend, and I didn't have another space to have like the quiet. And for all of you that are teachers, you understand that classrooms can be very loud, and it's difficult to find a quiet spot in a school. So I was typing the business model and responding all the questions from that form in the janitor's room, and my friend Pedro was his name. He was jokingly saying like, "What are you doing? Like, they will never accept you. Like, you are literally typing this from this place." And the first question in that form was, "What is the name of the company?" And we didn't have one because we never thought about building a company, to be honest. So we let that question for last. And with my 3 co-founders, we decided that the day we were submit the application, we would pick the name. And we all came with 3 different names. None of them were Edpuzzle, by the way. We all came with 3 different names, and we discussed which one we would pick. Long story short, we picked a few names, and then we realized that none of them had the .com domain. They didn't have Instagram accounts. They didn't have Twitter, Pinterest, and all the social media names. So we went back to square one. We didn't have a name. And I said, look, this cannot be this bad. We pick a name, nobody knows us, and we can change it later. So why don't we pick something around education, maybe ed and ed video, we said at the beginning, but video, it's very centered around video. Maybe we change down the line, we decide something else. Let's put puzzle ed, puzzle ed, Edpuzzle, Edpuzzle. Edpuzzle has all the .com domains, everything. And we said, we can change it later if we don't like it. 11 years later, we still have the same name. Now, that's the truth. However, let me let me explain a little bit better why we picked this name and how we evolved with this name. We decided a puzzle because it's an educational puzzle, like something that has many pieces, but and at the beginning it feels a little bit chaotic, like a classroom. But when you put those pieces together, it starts to build a picture that makes sense. And we wanted that flexibility to be present, that idea that when you have like that connection between pieces is when magic happens. So that's the story behind the name. And I think it's important because we, after mastering what learning through video means in Edpuzzle, we have now the best platform for learning through video. Not just embedding questions, which is a must, but also screen recording, the best integrations with your LMSs. We have partnerships with YouTube to remove all the ads and all the cookies and everything. We make everything safe. You have the best analytics. We even create content for the platform. We have more than 40 million video lessons created by teachers. But we always wonder what happens after an Edpuzzle lesson. Well, today we're going to talk about the other pieces of the puzzle. We started with the most difficult one, which is video, and now we're going to present the other pieces of the puzzle. The first piece of the puzzle that we're going to surround video with are quizzes. These are fantastic. For example, let's say we do a video and we want to check the understanding on key concepts on our students or specific vocabulary that we want to review with our students. And we want to do that in a fun, engaging, gamified way. We have quizzes now included in our platform. By the way, this is 100% free, so you can already play with it if you want, and it's in the free version of Edpuzzle. Another way could be like after a video, maybe you want to start a debate or introduce a new topic, and you don't want to do it in the boring PowerPoint where you can see students yawn because you're talking for too long, and you want to add a little bit of interactivity in that presentation. We have Edpuzzle slides as another piece of the puzzle. And finally, I don't know about all of you, but I remember asking my students back when I was a teacher what they wanted to be when they would be grown-ups. And many of them told me they wanted to be YouTubers. Well, now they have the chance in Edpuzzle because you can create student projects where you enable the students to record themselves or record a video to give an explanation to a specific topic. Again, this is ideal to flip things a little bit and let your students be YouTubers for a second. But also at the same time, you will be able to hear their voices, hear their thoughts. And this again is, I think, a fantastic opportunity to spice things in the classroom and make them more interactive. So you have seen already a few pieces of the puzzle. I wanted to ask the chat, which of these pieces are you most excited and how would you use them? I would love to read in the chat. The slides, the video responses, all of them. Well, that's great. Flipgrid, yeah, I love Flipgrid as well. Well, I see there is it's very interesting because I see different opinions, and that's the beauty of what we're trying to do here. As I said at the beginning, the idea is that you pick the pieces of your puzzle. Nobody knows your classroom better than yourself. But we want to give that flexibility. So you can really put together the different pieces and build a learning path for your students. So that means you can stick to video if that's what you love in Edpuzzle. But from time to time, maybe you want to include a few things here and there to emphasize that learning. You can test with, for example, I was helping a teacher recently, and she was using student projects to review before an exam. I think that's a very interesting use case for the record yourself feature. But maybe you want to do like a quiz here and there to review for vocabulary or key questions. The idea, again, is that with this, you have the flexibility to pick the learning path that is best for you and for your students. We didn't stop there. These are just some of the improvements we have done, because we know how hard it is to be a teacher. We understand what it means to be a Sunday afternoon with a gazillion apps open just to figure out the resources you can use for your next lesson. Lesson planning takes a long time, many times. I know that for a fact because I spent most of my weekends trying to build multiple lessons that would engage my students. Well, in Edpuzzle, we also have the Edpuzzle Originals team that develops amazing, and let me repeat that, amazing video lessons for teachers. Not just combining, because most of them are teachers, by the way, not just combining incredible instructional design, but also fantastic visual design. We have an incredible design team that has developed some of the most beautiful videos I have seen in education, with the idea of helping students learn content. This content is available as a premium functionality for schools. So your schools can acquire these packs of videos. They are standard aligned. And now not only they include videos, but we have surrounded these videos with other resources like quizzes, slides, worksheets, and more. All of them created by educators, and even in collaboration with some of the partners on YouTube channels that you love, like the Amoeba sisters, which are fantastic. Again, you're just one click away of saving your weekend afternoons in lesson planning. So this is another functionality we're excited to share with all of you. We have content in math, science, social studies, and more. Would love to hear now in the chat which subject areas would you love to find more content around? Four languages, I agree. French, math, Spanish. Math, we have a ton of content. So you should definitely check, Rita, the math content we have. Spanish, chemistry. Calculus, we are developing a lot of calculus, algebra 1, 2. Earth and science, space science, we have some content there as well. French, a lot of world languages, very interesting. American Sign Language, I love it because we have some ideas there. We have to move away from the CDs. I don't know if any of you had those CDs. American Sign Language teachers know what I'm talking about. It's difficult to share CDs these days. Language, science, Spanish. Awesome. We'll continue to work and develop and expand these packages of content, not just with our amazing team, but also in collaboration with channels like the Amoeba sisters that you all love. By the way, I'm curious which YouTube channels do you love and we should start a collaboration with? If you have any, maybe Crash Course. Definitely. Wow, Crash Course, I think is the Veritasium, Mr. Beats, Mathematics, Guzman Science. Awesome. Fantastic. Definitely. There you see there is a lot of opportunity here to develop more content for all of you and make it easier for you to find the right resources for your class. Let me jump into the next topic because obviously you have seen already the multi-content with quizzes, slides, student projects. You have seen as well the work we have done around Edpuzzle Originals and the collaborations with different content providers. But we thought, okay, how can we help teachers beyond the classroom? Because a happy teacher means a happy classroom. We decided to support all of you with Edpuzzle Professional. Edpuzzle Professional is also available for all of you to access right now. And you will see plenty of micro-credentials that you can learn at your own pace to develop your professional skills. The micro-credentials and the courses go from classroom management tips to AI for teachers and many more. So you have plenty of resources here if you want to explore more in depth. By the end of these micro-credentials, you will receive a certification on the amount of time you invested. And hopefully your school will want to use this platform as part of their professional development offering. So the school will be able not just to offer these credentials, but any credentials they want to offer to the teachers, and hold the teachers accountable as they complete at their own pace part of their professional development. If you haven't, strongly recommend checking the different courses. Let me tell you, the team has been putting a lot of work around these courses, and you can find content that shows real examples in the classroom. So real footage from real classes, so that you get not just theory in a PowerPoint presentation, but actual use cases in real classes, and learn from those experiences, so that you can see the best practices in action. And in topics as well as artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, etc., etc. So strongly recommend checking, because I'm sure there is something for all of you. And if there isn't, now I would love to read in the chat what topic or what course would you immediately click if it was available in Edpuzzle Professional, because we can develop it for you. Social media addictions and students, that's very interesting, yes. However, I have to say that we focus on the teacher, but maybe we can develop courses to empower the teacher to address these topics, for example. Art teacher PD, interesting. Digital citizenship courses. AI coaching, definitely. World language teaching strategies. We have something in the works for that. Fantastic. And we love, again, as I said before, and following the advice of my grandma, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. We love to hear your feedback. Please keep these ideas coming, because we want to develop something you love and use in your classes. So this sort of advice is very, very useful. And we haven't forgotten about the students. We know many students use their old phones to watch the videos. So that's why we develop high definition streaming for videos. So now the students will have crisp quality videos in every time they go to Edpuzzle, and closed captions in multiple languages. So the students that are watching these videos, they will also be able to activate different languages as they watch the video. As a person that had to learn English, I can tell this is very important, because sometimes it's hard for me to understand the different accents in English. Definitely if I talk to somebody from Scotland, and if there is somebody from Scotland in the chat, I apologize, but it's extremely hard for me to understand them. Anyway, I don't know if one day we'll have like closed captions happening in video calls, but that would be very, very useful. And where we're going, you have seen obviously that this is a very strong foundation. We have been working really, really hard to bring all these functionalities for all of you. But this is just the beginning. You will see that obviously we have videos, and we are going to continue to develop more functionalities for videos. We have quizzes, we have slides, we have student projects, and more pieces of the puzzle will come to support all of you to build your own learning paths for you and your students. Now, you're probably wondering, where is AI in this presentation? Well, we are working on it. We are talking to many teachers and schools, And let me tell you something. AI is a unique tool, fantastic when it comes to generating quick content for teachers. However, there is an elephant in the room that needs to be addressed, which is we know students can now respond to many questions using AI. And that creates certain uncertainty on teachers because they don't know if learning is actually happening. And that creates certain fear among teachers. So for that reason, we want not just to use AI to generate content from a PDF, from an article you find online, quickly generate like a PowerPoint or a quiz, or even find a useful video for you. Definitely, we're going to work on those things. But we want to guarantee that the students are learning when they are in Edpuzzle. Even if they use AI, we want to guarantee, we want to build that trust that you can sleep at night because you know students are learning the concepts that you share with them via Edpuzzle. So to make that happen, it's not just sharing videos and questions and multiple choice questions here and there. We're gonna enable you to connect what happens in the video with the next activity and the following one so that you know if that student is actually learning or not in Edpuzzle. And you will have full visibility, no extra work, and just we will adapt to your classroom and not the other way around. You won't have to learn new technology. The technology will adapt to you. So this is the stepping stone towards that vision. We presented the different functionalities that are now available in Edpuzzle and that you can honestly access them right now in the free platform. So you can play with them. But what is coming next is connecting the different pieces or helping you connect the different pieces so that you can really build a learning path for your students. I hope this was useful. I also want to use my last slide to thank all of you. It's been 11 years in working in Edpuzzle. I'm going to continue for at least 11 more if they let me. But I want to thank all of you because, again, I was a teacher, just like all of you, in a classroom. And if it hadn't been for all the teachers that opened their classrooms and their schools to chat with me, to give me feedback on how to improve the platform, nothing would have been possible. So to all of you, to the whole community, thank you so much. We're going to continue to work hard and to develop something you love because that's the only way that we can continue to succeed next to you. Thank you so much. I'm going to stop now and let you ask any question that you're interested in Edpuzzle, and I'm going to try to respond as many as I can. So if you have any questions for me or about Edpuzzle, happy to respond to those questions.
Thank you so much, Kim. That was so cool. I think even the the Edpuzzle team who is here joining your session have learned a lot from you today. And we actually have a couple of questions for you. I know we are going to be reading your question on the chat, but we have also like a couple of questions that we would like to ask. And I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to be the first one, if you don't mind, Mahmoud Mani. And is looking back, what were the most unexpected challenges of building Edpuzzle when you guys were in California? And how did you overcome those challenges?
So the first challenge was, I think, finding the first 10 users. So something people do not explain is that when you build something, nobody knows you. So how do you get somebody to know you? And again, that's where the cookies and brownies and hot coffee comes to place. I literally knocked at the door of schools and told them, look, I'm bringing free coffee and cookies if somebody wants to chat with me for 30 minutes. I did that for 3 months straight, visiting 3 schools per day. And that's how I started to talk to different teachers, that maybe those teachers were not excited about Edpuzzle, but maybe they knew somebody that would be excited. So that was the first unexpected challenge that I didn't know. I thought social media, posting on social media would bring the users. You literally have to visit classrooms and talk to teachers to build something they truly love. And that's what we did. The second one was also unexpected. In Edpuzzle, we haven't raised a lot of money to develop the platform, but I would say one of the moments that was unexpected, and not a lot of people know this, is as a foreign person in the US and not feeling very comfortable speaking English, I decided to change things a bit when it came to raising money for Edpuzzle. I decided that instead of me speaking, I would let the user speak for me. So I organized most of the meetings with my investors in real classrooms. I wanted teachers to show how their classes were organized around Edpuzzle. I wanted the students to talk to the investors instead of me having to talk to the investors. Anyway, I organized that one day, and the investors left the classroom. The teacher was super nervous for some reason. And we were leaving the classroom, going back to the parking lot, and we crossed another teacher. Actually, it was a world language teacher. And I helped that teacher during the summer with a professional development for other teachers in the university. And I did it for free. Like it was just a great experience for me. And I just did it because that's how I was raised. And we crossed her, and she said, "Oh, how are you doing, Kim? Glad to see you after so long." And I told her, "Look, I'm here because we're visiting a classroom with these investors." And she turned around to the investors and told them, "If you do not invest in Edpuzzle and Kim and his team, I don't know where you're going to invest the money." And I was like petrified.
Wow.
I couldn't believe that was happening. And literally that afternoon, those investors invested in Edpuzzle. And it was just, I guess, good karma or doing the right thing. But again, that's another way to thank the community, because without all of you, we couldn't be working on a company we love. And that's another example of a challenge we had that we solved in a very unexpected way.
Wow, thank you so much. Majo, you want to go for the next one?
Yeah. So there was a funny question that I read in the chat. So they were saying, I lost it, but it said something like, it was really nice for you to take cookies and coffee because, you know, taking food, it's a good thing to make people listen to you. But they were asking, what kind of cookies did you take to that meeting?
Chocolate chip cookies, brownies, and coffee. Then sometimes I would bring bagels because they're a little bit healthier.
Yeah.
And if it was lunchtime, sometimes I would bring pizza. So that I know if there are gluten-free people, they are gonna hate me, but it was a way to give back for their time, because obviously they were super busy, and a way to show my appreciation.
Oh, that's really nice. Thank you for sharing, Kim. Manny, do you want to do the next?
There's several questions about student projects and privacy with LMSs, and I'm like, honey, no, it stays private.
Yeah, no, but that's
So
a fair
tell us about
question.
that.
That's a fair question. That's a fair question. Yeah, as Manny is saying, like, we obviously take privacy very seriously. The student projects will only be available for you to see. So you will be able to hear the student voices. That also creates like also privacy for the student, because maybe they feel embarrassed if they respond to a question in front of the whole class. So that information will stay between you and the students. And then later, for example, let's say you use a student project to review, you collect like a little bit of feedback here and there. Maybe you can put together a slideshow to review like some key points and use that as a starting point for a debate in the classroom. That's what I mean by connecting the different pieces, because they shouldn't be disconnected. If you do a student project, maybe later there is a video or a quiz or a slideshow that comes right after it.
We apologize in advance if we're not able to answer all of these questions because there are a lot. I found one that is pretty interesting. It said, King, is there a way to collect student responses as pictures, particularly if students annotate graphs or show some math working?
We are working, again, this is what I meant by we have to rethink what it means to assess the students' learning. With AI, it's pretty easy now to just copy and paste something. So recording is a great way to if you are concerned, if students are using AI, just ask them to record themselves giving an answer. But we are exploring, and will come in a few months, we're gonna make other announcements of more functionalities in this sense, including taking a picture or demonstrating learning in different ways.
Awesome, thank you. This is a question also for you guys, for all the attendees. Is there a feature or improvement that you would love Edpuzzle to add in the future? Some of you have already been asking, but let's see what you guys think.
And somebody's asking about if it's possible to incorporate their own PowerPoint lessons. Yes, PowerPoint, I think we have Google Slides and PDF. So yes, you can bring your own slides to Edpuzzle. Polling feature this coming.
Drawing tools, do we have just commented it? That may be also one of the future features that we have. Screen sharing features.
I
Sorry, go ahead.
Screen sharing or whiteboard is for the student projects. Like you want the students to screen share, and because that's already a possibility in Edpuzzle student projects.
Oh, wait, not Edpuzzle, lowercase p. I'm like, my eyes does not have capital, just the E.
Yeah, we forgot to add that video, Manny, like how to spell Edpuzzle. You need to look for it. We always share it. On a video.
Speech to narrate videos you make using slides. Lisa, that's a great suggestion, where she's saying like, can we use something written and turn it into a video? I understand, or at least that's how I understand. That is something we are experimenting with our content development team, but it's still not perfect, and we don't want to release something that is not perfect for our users.
They were asking if the app that we have for the student will be available also for teachers.
Right now, it's still, we remain, because searching for content, editing the content if needed, embedding questions from a phone is kind of complicated. So eventually, like, we will have a teacher app, but for the moment, we believe the best use case is in a screen of a laptop, because you have more room to navigate.
Okay. We have 5 more minutes, guys, so let's get advantage of this time here with Kim. I had one more question for you, Kim. My question is, what has surprised you the most about how Edpuzzle is used around the world? What has surprised you the most on how teachers use it?
The most surprising, everybody has heard about the flipped classroom, and I have a few examples that really caught my eye over the years. One of them was in West Oakland. and the school was using Khan Academy and Edpuzzle instead of books.
Oh, wow.
Obviously, I don't want to, like, I love books. I read every day, but that school didn't have many resources and decided to use Edpuzzle and Khan Academy instead of using books for certain subjects. And the way they were using it was the teacher would have a video covering a specific problem with questions embedded. The students would watch that specific video multiple times. And then in the classroom, the teacher would take that problem and make it a little bit harder so that the students would struggle with a more challenging problem, even though they understood the foundation of how to solve that problem. And with the support of the teacher and the classroom, every student would go a level above. That school went from the bottom 1% in the state of California to the top 1% in the next 2 years with this approach.
Yeah.
Which was, to me, it was very simple, but very clear and transformative. Another way I saw, I have many examples and I could talk for hours. There was a language teacher that was using the same video, but 3 different times with different questions in each version. And I was like, why do you have the same video 3 times with different questions? And the teacher told me, because I want the first time students watch the video to respond to questions around vocabulary, content, specific parts of the video, and I want to check their understanding on this. Then we discuss in class the vocabulary and the content. The second time they watched the video, it was around like, what is happening in the video? I don't know, it was like an ebook or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but it was, I'm gonna ask questions about understanding of the content in the video. And the third time they watch, I want their opinion on how does this fit in the overall course that I'm teaching. And I was like, this is mind-blowing. Like, it was so interesting to see like the same video used with purpose. That was eye-opening for me. And then finally, I'm sorry to take so much time.
That's
but
okay.
there were, and I could talk, I have many examples for a different subject area. But before, somebody was mentioning American Sign Language, and that was another one that caught my attention. I remember at the beginning, it was an American Sign Language teacher that wrote to us, I don't want students to be able to rewatch the video. And I was like, wait, what do you mean? Like, there is nothing bad about rewatching the video and spending more time to learn something. And she was like, no, I want my students to go once and check if they understand the sign language that I'm teaching them the first time. I don't want, because in a real conversation, you don't have that opportunity to say like, can you repeat everything you said? No, you have to have the space to. So it was very interesting that's when I got very interested in American Sign Language. And it was very interesting for me to see how difficult it is to teach this language, not just to the students, but also to the parents. And parents that want to communicate with their kids, and that there are not many resources available, especially in this age, where the students can visually learn and respond to questions as they are watching the content. So Edpuzzle was like a perfect solution. So at some point, I would love to collaborate with a provider, because I'm not an expert in American Sign Language, and I know it's not my position, but I would love to collaborate with an organization to help us develop more content in this area.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Do you guys have another question, Majo?
Nope, we don't have any time. No more questions.
I love Manny, sorry. I love somebody, Nelly said, AI tool that prompts students to reflect on video or activities. that's coming.
Yeah,
Just-
one more, very fast, Manny. Someone said would be cool to have a student edit the video for elements they think they are the most vital. We actually have that already on a student project. On the student project, the students upload a video that they have created, but then they become teachers, so they have to add their own questions. So they had to think what are the most vital moments on that video to add those questions. So that was a good question, Rashmi, but we already have that on with the Edpuzzle student projects.
Yeah. And what I love about student projects is that you are you are sure that it had to be like learning before they created the video. So they learn because they learn. So yeah, I love student projects too. Well, since we don't have any more time to answer questions, Kim, I want to thank you so much for this inspiring session. I am like mind blown to see all the things that Edpuzzle has gone through and where we're headed. So it's always inspiring to see how Edpuzzle keeps growing and changing and making teachers' life easier every time, more and more. So thank you so much for being here. I know everybody's leaving very inspired for what all of the things that you said, and obviously very excited of all the new things that are coming.